The massive Imperial scanning ship hung motionless at the edge of an unremarkable solar system. Inside, Admiral White of the Galactic Empire frowned at the readings on his screen. Something wasn't right about this Level 3 civilization they had discovered. "Run the scan again," he ordered his crew. The massive computers hummed as they analyzed the third planet from the sun. The results came back the same. The Admiral's frown deepened. According to these readings, this species went from discovering powered flight to achieving space travel in less than 70 years. That's impossible. His science officer looked equally puzzled. "Sir, they appear to have developed nuclear technology, computer systems, and space flight capabilities at an alarming rate. Our historical databases show no other species has advanced this quickly." The Admiral stood up from his command chair and walked to the main viewport. The blue planet hung like a jewel in the distance. "What do we know about them?" "They call themselves humans, sir. Their planet is named Earth. They're still divided into nation-states, but they have a global communication network and rudimentary space stations. Their technology level is inconsistent." "Inconsistent how?" "In some areas, they're barely above primitive. In others," the science officer paused. "In others, they've made advances that don't follow normal technological progression patterns. It's as if they're developing technology randomly rather than following the standard evolution of civilizations." Meanwhile, on Earth, in the secret underground complex of Global Defense Command, alarms were quietly going off. General Thompson stared at the radar readings with growing concern. The objects at the edge of their solar system had appeared 3 days ago, and they weren't asteroids or any known celestial bodies. "What's the latest analysis?" he asked the room full of international experts. A radar specialist from India spoke up. "The objects are approximately 3.2 kilometers in length. They're clearly artificial and appear to be powered by some form of energy we've never encountered before. They're also trying very hard to remain undetected." The general nodded. "And how's our little surprise coming along?" A scientist from Brazil smiled. "The shield network is ready, sir. They have no idea it's there. As far as their scans can tell, we're just a bunch of primitives playing with rockets." The room filled with quiet chuckles. Humanity had learned long ago to keep their best technologies hidden. The early UFO sightings of the 20th century had taught them that they weren't alone, and they had prepared accordingly. Back on the Imperial ship, Admiral White made his decision. "Send the standard first contact delegation. Prepare the incorporation documents and ready the resource survey teams. This should be a routine integration." Little did he know that Earth's leaders were already gathering in an emergency session. In a fortified bunker deep beneath the Swiss Alps, representatives from every nation sat around a massive table. The mood was tense but determined. "The motion before us is clear," the council chairman spoke firmly. "Do we reveal our true technological capabilities, or do we play along with their assumptions about our development level?" The Russian representative stood up. "We've spent 70 years hiding our best tech. We knew this day would come. I say we wait and see what they want." "Agreed," said the American representative. "Our orbital defense grid is ready but hidden. Our quantum shields are invisible to their scans. Let's see their cards before we show ours." The vote was unanimous. Earth would play dumb for now. As the first Imperial diplomatic shuttle prepared to enter Earth's atmosphere, Admiral White watched from his command ship with satisfaction. These primitive humans would surely be grateful for the Empire's guidance and protection. They would willingly sign away their resources and accept their place in the grand Imperial hierarchy, just like countless species before them. He had no way of knowing that deep beneath the oceans, in hidden mountain bunkers, and in orbital stations disguised as junk, humanity's real technology was waiting. They had spent decades preparing for this moment, building defenses that no one would expect from a primitive civilization. The humans had a saying that would soon become very relevant to the Empire: "Don't judge a book by its cover." The diplomatic shuttle descended toward Earth, its crew confident in their mission's success. Behind them, the massive Imperial ships waited patiently, their weapons powered down. They wouldn't need them for this simple incorporation of another primitive world. They were wrong. Very wrong. The Imperial diplomatic shuttle landed in a large field outside the United Nations building in New York. Earth's leaders had chosen this location to maintain the illusion of their technological level, letting the Empire think they had no better landing facilities. 3 Imperial diplomats stepped out of their ship. Their leader, Ambassador Green, wore flowing robes covered in medals and symbols of Imperial authority. He smiled at the simple landing pad and the primitive welcoming committee. This would be an easy assignment. Inside the UN building, the human delegation waited. They had carefully chosen their representatives to appear properly primitive to the Empire. They wore simple business suits and carried ordinary tablets, hiding their advanced quantum computers and universal translators. "Welcome to Earth," said the UN Secretary-General, extending his hand in greeting. The ambassador ignored it. "We bring greetings from the Galactic Empire," Ambassador Green announced, his translator converting his words to Earth's languages. "We are here to offer you the privilege of joining our great civilization." The human delegation led them to the conference room. The Empire's representatives seemed pleased by the ordinary chairs and basic presentation screen. Everything was going according to Earth's plan. "Let us show you the standard terms of incorporation," Ambassador Green said, activating a holographic display. The humans pretended to be impressed by this simple technology, while their hidden sensors recorded and analyzed everything. The terms appeared in the air. Earth would become a protectorate of the Empire. All space travel would require Imperial permission. Earth's resources would be managed by Imperial mining corporations. Human population growth would be optimized. Earth would receive appropriate technology upgrades. The Empire would provide protection from outer threats. The ambassador smiled broadly. "These are our standard terms. Very generous, wouldn't you agree?" But something was wrong. The humans weren't responding with the usual awe and gratitude. Instead, they were reading each term carefully, asking detailed questions about specific clauses. "Could you explain this section about genetic optimization?" asked one of Earth's scientists. Ambassador Green's smile faltered slightly. "Oh, that's just standard procedure. We help species improve themselves through minor genetic adjustments. Nothing to worry about." The humans' hidden quantum computers had already decoded the Empire's true meaning. They planned to alter human DNA to make Earth's population more obedient. "And this part about resource management?" another human representative asked. "Simply routine," the ambassador said smoothly. "We handle all the complicated details of mining and resource extraction. You won't have to worry about anything." The decoded truth. They planned to strip Earth bare of all valuable minerals and metals. The meeting continued for several hours. With each question, the Imperial delegation grew more uncomfortable. These humans weren't acting like typical primitives. They asked too many good questions. They spotted too many hidden clauses. Finally, the UN Secretary-General stood up. "We have reviewed your terms carefully, Ambassador Green. Our answer is no." The silence in the room was deafening. "No." Ambassador Green's translator seemed to struggle with the word. "Perhaps you don't understand. These aren't optional terms. This is a formal notice of your incorporation into the Empire." "We understand perfectly," replied the Secretary-General. "And we still decline." The ambassador's friendly mask disappeared. "You cannot decline. No species has ever declined membership in the Empire. The alternative is unpleasant." That's when the humans did something that shocked the Imperial delegation. They laughed. "Ambassador," said the Secretary-General, "I suggest you look more carefully at the documents we handed you at the start of this meeting, the ones you dismissed as primitive paperwork." The ambassador grabbed the papers he had ignored earlier. As he read, his eyes widened. They were a detailed analysis of Imperial technology, including weaknesses in their ship designs that humans had already discovered. "This is impossible," he whispered. "You couldn't have. You're not advanced enough to. We are not what we seem, Ambassador, the Secretary General said calmly. And we don't just decline your terms. We are declaring the entire solar system off limits to the Galactic Empire. Earth is not for sale, rent, or incorporation. The ambassador's face turned dark with rage. You have no idea what you're doing. The Empire will not tolerate this insult. No, Ambassador, replied the Secretary General. You have no idea what you're dealing with. We suggest you leave now, while you still can. As the Imperial delegation stormed back to their shuttle, they failed to notice the slight shimmer in the air around them. Earth's quantum shields were already active, just in case. The real show of force was about to begin. The next morning, every screen and communication device in the galaxy received the same message. Earth's declaration was simple, clear, and bold. To the Galactic Empire and all spacefaring civilizations, the Sol system, containing Earth and all planetary bodies within its borders, is hereby declared a sovereign territory. Entry is forbidden without explicit permission from Earth's United Defense Council. Violators will be removed by force. On the Imperial capital world, the High Council erupted in laughter. These primitives think they can ban us. One counselor wheezed, wiping tears from his eyes. They barely have ships that can reach their own moon. Admiral White wasn't laughing. He stood before the council, his face grave. My lords, something isn't right. The humans knew things about our ships that they shouldn't have known. They've been studying us. Impossible, shouted another counselor. Our stealth technology is perfect. They couldn't have detected our scout ships over the years. That's when the Admiral played the recording from their last scan of Earth. The council chamber fell silent as they watched. On the screen, Earth's entire defense network suddenly became visible. Hidden satellites emerged from what looked like space debris. Massive gun platforms appeared from behind holographic shields. A web of energy barriers flickered into view around the entire solar system. They wanted us to see this, Admiral White explained. They've been hiding their real technology all along. Back on Earth, the Global Defense Command was busy. General Thompson watched as the planetary shield grid powered up to full strength for the first time in public view. It was a beautiful sight, layers of quantum barriers rippling like aurora borealis around the planet. Status report, he ordered. All systems operational, sir, replied his technical chief. The Empire's probe ships are still watching. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. And our special surprise. A scientist grinned. Ready and waiting, sir. The moment they try anything, they'll find out why humans are different from every other species they've encountered. In orbit, Earth's true space fleet decloaked. Not the primitive satellites and space stations the Empire had seen before, but advanced warships built in secret underground bases and hidden shipyards on the far side of the moon. The Imperial Council was no longer laughing. They watched in stunned silence as their scans showed more and more of Earth's hidden capabilities. How? Demanded the head counselor. How did they advance so quickly without us knowing? Admiral White had a theory. They knew we were out here. All those UFO sightings their people reported over the centuries. They weren't mass hysteria. Their governments knew about us and prepared in secret. While we thought they were just another primitive world to conquer, they were studying us and building defenses. Test them, ordered the head counselor. Send in a probe ship. Let's see if these defenses are real or just tricks of light. The Empire launched their most advanced probe ship toward Earth. As it approached the edge of the solar system, something strange happened. The probe's engines simply stopped working. All its systems went dark. Earth's message was brief. This is your only warning. The probe ship is unharmed but powered down. We are towing it back to the edge of our space. Send nothing else into our system without permission. The Empire watched in shock as their powerless probe was pushed by an invisible force back to their waiting ships. When its systems came back online, the data it contained was frightening. The humans had used some kind of energy the Empire had never seen before. Their technology. It's not just different in strength, Admiral White reported. It's different in kind. They didn't follow the normal path of technological development. They created their own path. The head counselor's face turned dark with rage. No primitive species defies the Empire. Prepare the war fleet. We will teach these humans their place in the galaxy. But on Earth, General Thompson smiled as he watched the Imperial ships gather. Everything was going according to plan. The Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. Let them come, he said quietly. We're ready for them. We've been ready for centuries. The real test of Earth's defenses was about to begin, and humanity had a few more surprises waiting for their uninvited guests. The Imperial battle fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. 500 warships, the largest fleet assembled in the past 100 years, filled the void with their massive hulls. Their weapons powered up, ready to teach Earth a lesson about defying the Empire. Admiral White stood on his command bridge, watching the blue planet in the distance. Send the message, he ordered. The message was broadcast across all frequencies. People of Earth, you have one last chance to surrender. If you resist, we will destroy your civilization. In the Global Defense Command Center, General Thompson read the message and shook his head. Send our response, he said quietly. Earth's message was just 3 words. Come and try. The Imperial fleet moved forward. Their massive ships formed an attack pattern they had used to conquer 1,000 worlds. But as they crossed the invisible line marking Earth's defensive perimeter, everything changed. The first wave of Imperial ships suddenly stopped. Their engines died, just like the probe before. But this time, Earth wasn't being gentle. Streams of strange energy shot out from hidden platforms around the solar system. Where they touched Imperial ships, the metal simply came apart at the molecular level. 20 ships dissolved into clouds of floating atoms before the Empire even realized what was happening. Impossible, shouted Admiral White. All ships raise shields to maximum. But the Imperial shields, designed to stop plasma and laser weapons, were useless against Earth's quantum disassemblers. The humans had created weapons that ignored the laws of physics as the Empire understood them. The second wave of Imperial ships launched their fighters. Thousands of small craft poured toward Earth, their pilots confident in their superior technology. They never reached their targets. Earth's defensive grid activated its gravity weapons. Invisible waves of distorted space-time caught the Imperial fighters. Some were crushed into tiny balls of metal. Others were stretched apart like rubber bands. The rest found themselves floating in space, their engines unable to function in the altered gravity fields. How are they doing this? Demanded the Admiral. These primitives couldn't have developed such weapons. On Earth, General Thompson watched the battle with calm satisfaction. Activate the swarm, he ordered. From behind the moon, millions of small objects appeared. Each one was barely larger than a coffee cup, but they moved with incredible speed. These were Earth's autonomous battle drones, powered by artificial intelligence and armed with weapons that could pierce Imperial shields like they were paper. The swarm attacked. Imperial ships found themselves being cut apart by weapons they couldn't even detect. Their sensors, designed to spot enemy ships and energy weapons, were blind to Earth's microscopic warriors. Fall back, ordered Admiral White. Regroup and prepare for long-range bombardment. But as the surviving Imperial ships retreated, they discovered another surprise. Earth's quantum shields didn't just stop attacks. They reflected them. The Empire's own weapons fire bounced back at them, destroying dozens more ships. In the Global Defense Command Center, a young officer turned to General Thompson. Sir, should we pursue them? No, the general replied. Let them run. But first, let's give them something to remember us by. Earth activated its final defensive measure. A wave of energy swept out from the planet, traveling faster than light. As it passed through the Imperial fleet, every computer system, every piece of advanced technology, simply shut down. The mighty Imperial warships were left floating in space, their crews scrambling to restore power to basic life support systems. Only their emergency backup systems, too simple to be affected by the shutdown wave, kept them alive. Admiral White stood in his darkened command center, lit only by emergency lights, and realized a terrible truth. The Empire hadn't found a primitive civilization to conquer. They had awakened a sleeping giant that had been preparing for this day for centuries. Using the last working communication device on his ship, a simple radio, he sent a final message to the Imperial capital. Full retreat. Earth is not to be touched. They are beyond us. As the crippled Imperial fleet limped away from the solar system, General Thompson sent one last message after them. Next time, knock before entering. Earth's hospitality only extends to peaceful visitors. The battle was over. Humanity had just announced its presence to the galaxy in a way that would never be forgotten. News of the Empire's defeat spread across the galaxy like wildfire. No one could believe it at first. A primitive world had not only resisted the Imperial fleet, but had completely destroyed a large part of it. In the Imperial Palace, the High Council was in chaos. 500 ships, screamed one counselor, throwing data tablets across the room. We lost 200 ships to a single planet. The other 300 are still trying to restart their systems. Admiral White stood silently in the center of the chamber, waiting for the shouting to die down. When it finally did, he spoke softly. "My lords, it gets worse." He pressed a button, and the chamber's main screen lit up. Earth was broadcasting footage of the battle across every communication channel in the galaxy. They had recorded everything from multiple angles, showing exactly how they had defeated the Empire's finest ships. But that wasn't the worst part. "They're sharing our secret files," another counselor whispered in horror. "The ones from our ship's computers. The ones about all our other conquests." Earth had done more than just defend itself. During the battle, their quantum computers had copied every piece of data from the Imperial ships. Now they were showing the galaxy the truth about how the Empire really operated. On a dozen Imperial colony worlds, the broadcasts were causing riots. Species that had been conquered centuries ago were watching Earth's victory with growing hope. If one world could defeat the Empire, maybe they could too. The High Council received urgent messages from planetary governors across the galaxy. "The people are demanding independence. Our garrison is surrounded by protesters. They're copying Earth's defensive designs." In the Global Defense Command Center on Earth, General Thompson watched the galactic chaos with satisfaction. "Phase 2 is proceeding as planned," he reported to the World Council. "And the data package?" asked the Council Chairman. "Being distributed now. Every suppressed civilization is receiving complete plans for our defensive systems. The Empire won't be able to stop them all from building them." That's when Earth revealed its next move. The World Council broadcast a new message to the galaxy. "To all civilizations under Imperial rule, Earth extends an offer of friendship and mutual defense. We will share our technology with any peaceful world that wishes to be free. The age of empire is over. The age of independence has begun." The response was immediate. Across the galaxy, conquered worlds began declaring their independence. Some of the Empire's own military commanders, impressed by Earth's power and disgusted by the Empire's lies, switched sides. In a secret Imperial shipyard, an entire battle group declared its loyalty to the growing rebellion. Their commander sent a simple message to Earth: "We choose freedom. Tell us where you need us." The Empire tried to respond with force, but they faced a serious problem. None of their weapons worked properly anymore. Earth's shutdown wave had infected their military computers with a virus that spread through their networks, causing random malfunctions in their most advanced systems. Back in the Imperial Palace, the High Council received even worse news. Their own people were starting to question everything. The Empire's citizens had always believed they were spreading civilization and order. Now they were seeing the truth about their leaders' actions. "We're losing control," admitted the head counselor. "These humans, they didn't just beat our fleet. They destroyed our reputation. Our own people are turning against us. Admiral White, who had warned them about underestimating Earth, finally spoke again. We have one choice left. We must negotiate with Earth, or our empire will tear itself apart. But Earth wasn't interested in negotiating yet. They were busy helping other worlds build defensive systems, teaching them how to resist imperial control. Each day, more planets declared their independence. In the Global Defense Command Center, General Thompson received a special message. The former Imperial battle group that had defected wanted to meet. "Should we trust them?" asked his aide. The general smiled. "Trust, but verify. Send them coordinates near Jupiter. Let's see if they're really ready to help create a free galaxy." The Empire had started this conflict expecting an easy victory over primitives. Instead, they had sparked a revolution that would change the galaxy forever. And it was only beginning. The Jupiter Defense Station hummed with activity as the former Imperial battle group dropped out of hyperspace. 20 massive warships, their Imperial markings painted over with new symbols of freedom, moved into position near the gas giant. Their commander, former Imperial Captain Smith, stood nervously on his flagship's bridge. He still couldn't believe how quickly everything had changed. Just 1 month ago, he had been a loyal Imperial officer. Now he was about to join forces with the planet that had changed everything. Earth's greeting was typically direct. A small ship appeared out of nowhere. Their cloaking technology still amazed the former Imperial officers. "Welcome to freedom," came the message from General Thompson. "Are you ready to help others find it too?" The next few days were a blur of activity. Earth's engineers helped the former Imperial crews install new defensive systems. The ship's computers were cleared of Imperial control programs and upgraded with Earth's advanced technology. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the revolution was spreading faster than anyone had expected. On the desert world of New Phoenix, Imperial troops found themselves facing their own weapons. The locals had copied Earth's defense plans and built them in hidden underground factories. When the Imperial ships tried to bomb the rebels, their own missiles turned around and came back at them. In the diamond mines of Star System 847, slave workers switched off their control collars using Earth's override codes. Their Imperial guards discovered that their fancy weapons no longer worked. The slaves walked out of the mines, free for the first time in generations. The Empire's response was fierce but useless. Their ships would jump into rebel systems, weapons ready, only to find themselves powerless. Earth's virus had spread through their entire network. Even their newest ships were infected. In the Imperial Palace, the High Council received the worst news yet. Their own military academy had rebelled. Young officer cadets, inspired by Earth's example, had taken control of the school's training ships. "They're calling themselves the Freedom Fleet," reported a nervous messenger. "Half of our best young officers have joined them." But the biggest shock came from the Imperial Science Division. Their top researchers sent a message to Earth, asking for asylum. They had discovered something horrifying in the Empire's secret files. The head scientist's message was clear. The Empire has been holding back technological progress on purpose. They kept better technology for themselves while giving us outdated versions. Earth developed their own technology without these restrictions. That's why they're so far ahead of us. General Thompson shared this information with the rebel worlds. The response was immediate and angry. More Imperial citizens joined the revolution, furious at being kept in artificial backwardness. Captain Smith's battle group got their first real test at the Battle of New Hope Colony. Imperial loyalists tried to punish the rebel world with orbital bombardment, but the upgraded rebel ships, using Earth's technology, stopped them cold. "Your weapons are useless," Captain Smith broadcast to his former comrades. "Your shields are worthless. Surrender and join us, or leave. Those are your only options." The Imperial ships surrendered. Their crews had seen too many defeats. They knew the Empire was dying. Back on Earth, the Global Defense Command received messages from across the galaxy. New rebel groups appeared every day. Imperial governors switched sides. Whole star systems declared independence. "We've passed the tipping point," General Thompson told the World Council. "The Empire can't stop it now. Too many worlds have our technology. Too many of their secrets are exposed." The Council chamber's main screen showed the latest statistics. 300 worlds had declared independence. 40% of the Imperial fleet had defected. 60% of Imperial trade routes were controlled by rebels. 90% of Imperial computer systems were infected with Earth's virus. But the Empire wasn't finished yet. In their hidden fortress worlds, the most fanatical Imperial leaders were preparing one last, desperate plan. "If we can't rule the galaxy," declared the head counselor, "then no one will. Prepare the planet killers." They didn't know that Earth had already discovered their secret weapon, and humanity had prepared a special surprise for anyone who would dare to use such horrible weapons. The final battle for the galaxy's future was about to begin. The Imperial planet killers emerged from their secret bases, massive ships designed to destroy entire worlds. The head counselor had gone mad with power, ordering the destruction of any world that dared to rebel. But Earth was ready. As the planet killers approached their first target, a peaceful farming world, something strange happened. Thousands of tiny lights appeared in space around them. Each light was an Earth defense drone, too small to shoot, too numerous to stop. "Now," ordered General Thompson from the Global Defense Command Center. The drones activated simultaneously. A web of energy connected them, creating a massive quantum field. Inside this field, the laws of physics could be changed at will. Earth's scientists had discovered this ability decades ago, but had kept it secret until now. The planet killers' weapons simply vanished, converted back into harmless energy. Their crews watched in horror as their mighty ships were reduced to hollow shells. In orbit around Earth, Captain Smith led the combined rebel fleet. Former Imperial ships now fighting for freedom. They surrounded the defenseless planet killers. "Surrender," Captain Smith broadcast. "Your weapons are gone. Your empire is finished. Choose to be part of the new galaxy." The head counselor's response was a scream of rage. He ordered his personal guard to fight to the death. But his own troops had seen enough. Live broadcasts showed Imperial soldiers laying down their weapons across the galaxy. In the Imperial Palace, the High Council chamber doors burst open. Their own royal guards walked in, removing their helmets. "We serve the people," their commander announced, "not rulers who would destroy worlds out of spite." The arrest of the Imperial leadership was broadcast across the galaxy. But Earth surprised everyone again. Instead of punishment, they proposed something new. A galactic council where all worlds would have an equal voice. General Thompson addressed the first meeting of this new council, held in a neutral space station. "Earth didn't fight just to create a new empire. We fought so all worlds could be free. Every species deserves the right to develop in their own way, at their own pace. From now on, no civilization will be forced to follow another's path." The new Galactic Council's first acts were historic. All forms of forced imperial rule were ended. Every world gained the right to choose its own government. Earth's defensive technology was shared with all peaceful worlds. A new law banned weapons that could destroy planets. The Empire's restricted technology was released to everyone. The former head counselor, now in custody, watched in disbelief as his empire transformed into something new. "Why?" he asked his guards. "Why did you help them destroy everything we built?" "We didn't destroy the Empire," replied Captain Smith, who had come to visit his former leader. "We helped create something better." Earth showed us their strength in freedom, not just in power. 1 year later, the galaxy had changed completely. Trade flowed freely between worlds. New discoveries were shared instead of hoarded. Species that had been enemies under Imperial rule were now working together. In the Global Defense Command Center, General Thompson looked at the latest reports with satisfaction. Former Imperial worlds were developing their own unique technologies. New trade routes connected previously isolated systems. Scientific progress was accelerating without Imperial restrictions. Peacekeepers, not conquerors, patrolled space. Mission accomplished. Astizade. The general smiled. Just beginning. We didn't just want to stop the Empire. We wanted to show the galaxy a better way. And look, they're already going beyond what we taught them. He pointed to reports of new innovations from former imperial worlds. Free to develop their own way, each civilization was contributing something unique to galactic culture. Earth had become known as the world that said no. But more importantly, it was now known as the world that said yes to freedom, yes to diversity, and yes to a future where every civilization could reach its full potential. As ships from 100 worlds gathered for the first Galactic Freedom Day celebration, Earth's simple message was repeated across the stars. The galaxy belongs to everyone. All we have to do is be brave enough to claim our place in it. The end.